You've been lied to again. Most doctors, dietitians, and so-called experts still preach that old, worn-out gospel of just eat less and move more. They'll pat you on the shoulder and tell you it's all about calories in, calories out, as if your body were a simple calculator. Well, let me tell you something, your body isn't a calculator, it's a chemistry lab. And that outdated advice, it's the reason so many people are hungry, tired, and stuck in a weight loss nightmare that never ends. Cutting calories might make you lose a little weight at first, but most of that weight isn't fat, it's water, glycogen, and worst of all, muscle. You know what happens then? Your metabolism slows to a crawl, you feel miserable. And before you know it, the fat you lost creeps right back on. Sometimes with a bonus layer. Here's the truth, nobody's shouting loud enough, protein isn't optional. It's essential. Protein is the single most powerful nutrient when it comes to controlling hunger, stabilizing insulin, and telling your body, hey, let's burn fat, not muscle. It's what keeps your metabolism humming and your cravings in check. When you don't get enough protein, your body doesn't care how few calories you're eating. It'll hold on to fat like a dragon guard's gold. That's why people fail on low-calorie diets. They're starving the very system that's supposed to help them burn fat. But when you eat the right amount of protein, everything changes. Hunger fades, energy rises, and fat starts to melt off naturally without white-knuckling your way through every meal. In this video, I'm going to show you the 5-1 protein trick your doctor never told you. The one that flips your body's fat burning switch back on for good everywhere you look. Someone's telling you the secret to losing weight is to just eat fewer calories. That's been the mainstream diet message for the last 50 years. And it's one of the biggest lies in modern medicine. Here's the cold, hard truth. Your body isn't a calculator, it's chemistry. You can't trick your biology with math. Cutting calories doesn't make your body burn fat, it makes your body panic. When you eat less, your body doesn't think, oh great, time to get slim. It thinks, oh famine. So what does it do? It hits the brakes on your metabolism to save energy. It burns fewer calories, your thyroid slows down, and your hunger hormones crank up to full volume. That's why you start craving everything in sight. And guess what? You're not weak or lacking willpower. Your body is literally fighting to keep you alive. That's survival biology 101. I've seen it 1,000 times in my clinic. Someone starts a 200 calorie a day diet, loses some weight in the first few weeks, then hits a wall. The weight loss stops, hunger becomes unbearable, and before long, they're raiding the pantry at midnight. Then they give up, feel like a failure, and the weight comes right back, usually with interest. It's not their fault, it's the calorie myth in action. Your body simply doesn't want to burn stored fat when it's under. It wants to protect you from starvation by slowing down metabolism and burning muscle instead. The less you eat, the slower your metabolism gets, and that's why eating less almost always backfires. Now let's talk about protein, the nutrient that flips this entire equation upside down. When you give your body enough high-quality protein, it stops acting like it's in a crisis. Protein keeps your insulin low and stable, which tells your body, we're safe, go ahead and burn the fat. It also boosts thermogenesis. Your body literally burns more calories just digesting it. And unlike carbs or fats, protein doesn't spike insulin, which means you can finally access stored fat for fuel. When insulin is low, fat burning is unlocked. That's the chemistry no one talks about. Ever wonder why people on low protein, low calorie diets feel tired, moody, and foggy? Because their body is breaking down muscle for fuel. Muscle isn't just for flexing, it's your metabolic engine. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism runs even while you sleep. But if you cut calories without enough protein, your body burns that engine for fuel. That's why you lose weight fast at first, but it's the wrong kind of weight. You're losing muscle, not fat. Then, when you go back to eating normally, your metabolism is slower, your muscle mass is lower, and your body stores every extra calorie as fat. That's the yo-yo cycle so many people get trapped in. I had a patient once, a woman in her 40s, who told me she tried every diet in the book, calorie counting, shakes, low fat, you name it. She was eating 900 calories a day and couldn't lose a pound. When we checked her protein intake, it was pitiful, maybe 40 grams a day. I told her to stop starving herself and start eating real food with at least 100 grams of protein daily. She looked at me like I was crazy, eat more to lose more. But 2 weeks later, she felt like a different person. Energy back, cravings gone, and the scale finally started moving down again. That's what happens when you stop fighting your body and start feeding it what it needs. Protein changes everything. It tells your body, we're nourished, we're safe, go ahead and burn fat. It keeps your metabolism active, your muscles strong, and your hunger hormones under control. That's why people who focus on protein lose weight without the misery. No more counting every crumb or feeling guilty after every meal. The old, ate less, move more advice belongs in the trash. It's not about starving yourself. It's about fueling your body right. When you understand that weight loss stops being a battle and starts becoming biology working in your favor, let me tell you something most doctors never explain. Hunger isn't just about willpower. It's about hormones. When your hormones are out of whack, you can have a full stomach and still feel starving. That's why so many people can eat a whole bowl of cereal and still be hungry an hour later. The secret hormone trio behind this mess is ghrelin, leptin, and insulin. Ghrelin is your hunger signal. It tells your brain, hey, it's time to eat. Leptin is your satiety hormone. It tells your brain, we're full, stop eating. And insulin, that's your storage hormone. It decides whether you're burning fat or storing it. When you eat the wrong foods, that whole system breaks down. When you eat the right foods, especially protein, your hunger hormones start working for you instead of against you. Here's what happens when you eat a high carb breakfast, like cereal, toast, or a muffin. Your blood sugar spikes, insulin rushes out to clean up the mess, and then your blood sugar crashes. Within 2 hours, you're tired, cranky, and ready for another hit of sugar. That's not weakness, that's biochemistry. Your body's just trying to balance the roller coaster you put it on. Now compare that to a breakfast with eggs, bacon, and a little cheese, high in protein, low in carbs. Your blood sugar stays steady, insulin stays low, and ghrelin, that hunger hormone, shuts up for hours. You don't have to white knuckle your way past the snack drawer because you're simply not hungry. You stop chasing snacks because your body's finally fed. Protein also helps leptin do its job again. When you've been eating junk and riding the sugar train for years, your body becomes leptin resistant. Your brain can't hear the I'm full signal anymore. That's why people can overeat and still feel empty. But when you bring protein back into your diet, inflammation goes down, leptin sensitivity improves, and that full signal finally starts getting through again. You'll notice it without even trying. Smaller portions start feeling satisfying, and the need to graze all day disappears. That's not discipline. That's biology working the way it's supposed to. I once had a patient who told me she couldn't stop snacking. She'd eat lunch and be rummaging through the pantry an hour later. When I asked what she was eating, it was all low fat, high carb stuff, rice cakes, granola bars, fruit smoothies. I told her, you're not feeding your body, you're teasing it. We switched her to meals centered around protein, chicken, eggs, Greek yogurt, steak, and within a week she said, Daf, I can't believe this. I'm not hungry anymore. That's the power of protein. It quiets the noise in your head that's constantly saying, eat something. When your body gets the protein it needs, it relaxes. It knows it's nourished. So it doesn't keep begging for more. There's research to back this up too. Studies show that when people increase their protein intake to about 25-30% of their calories, they naturally eat fewer total calories without trying. Not because they're restricting, but because they're satisfied. Their ghrelin levels drop, leptin works better, and insulin stays balanced. That's the trifecta for effortless fat loss. And here's something even more interesting. When insulin is low and stable, your body can finally tap into its stored fat for energy. That means you're burning fat between meals instead of sugar from your last snack. So not only does protein keep you from overeating, it literally shifts your metabolism toward fat burning. Let's be honest, most people don't fail diets because they're lazy. They fail because they're hungry. Constant hunger is misery, and no one can live like that forever. That's why calorie-restricted diets crash and burn. But when protein becomes the star of your plate, you don't need superhuman willpower. Your body's chemistry starts doing the heavy lifting for you. Hunger calms down, cravings fade, energy stabilizes, and you start feeling in control again. That's when weight loss stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like freedom. Protein is the closest thing we have to a natural appetite suppressant. But it's not a trick or a gimmick. It's just feeding your body what it's built to run on. And when you do that, the results speak for themselves. Here's what most people never hear from their doctor. Your metabolism isn't some mysterious force you're born with. It's built and maintained by your muscle mass. Muscle is your body's fat burning engine, and protein is the fuel that keeps that engine running strong. Every pound of muscle you have burns calories all day long, even while you're sleeping. That's why people with more lean muscle can eat more food and still stay lean. But the moment you start cutting calories and skimping on protein, your body starts breaking down that muscle for energy, and your fat burning engine begins to stall. You might lose weight on the scale, but what you're actually losing is the very tissue that keeps your metabolism alive. Think of it like this. Your body's like a car with two fuel tanks. One holds fat, the other holds muscle. If you're not eating enough protein, your body starts tapping into the muscle tank first because it's easier to break down. That's why people on low protein, low calorie diets often look and feel worse the longer they go. They're losing muscle, their energy tanks, and their metabolism slows down to a crawl. That's why they can eat practically nothing and still not lose fat. They've burned up their own fat burning engine. But when you eat enough protein, your body gets the message, we're nourished, we've got the building blocks we need, let's burn fat instead. Protein protects your muscle, and when muscle is protected, your metabolism stays active and strong. Now let's talk about thermogenesis, the fancy word for how your body burns calories just digesting food. Protein has what's called a high thermic effect. That means your body uses more energy to break it down and absorb it than it does with carbs or fats. In simple terms, you burn more calories eating protein than you do eating bread or sugar. That's like getting free calorie burn every time you eat. So not only does protein preserve your muscle, it actually raises your daily calorie burn naturally. No magic pills, no treadmill marathons, just the chemistry of eating real food that works with your body. Not against it. I had a patient once who told me she was exhausted all the time. Even though she was doing everything right, she was eating light, salads, fruit, and a few crackers here and there, but almost no protein. When I asked her to track what she was eating, it turned out she was getting maybe 30 grams of protein a day. That's less than half of what her body needed just to maintain her muscle. I told her, you're not fueling your engine, you're starving it. Once she bumped her protein up to 100 grams a day, everything changed. Within 2 weeks, her energy was back, her mood improved, and her body started burning fat again. She said, "Doc, I'm eating more and finally losing weight." That's what happens when you feed your metabolism instead of starving it. Protein doesn't just keep your metabolism running, It tells your body what kind of weight to lose. When your protein intake is high, your body knows to hold on to muscle and burn stored fat for fuel. When protein is low, it does the opposite. It burns muscle and stores fat. That's why body composition matters more than the number on the scale. Two people can weigh the same, but the one eating enough protein will look leaner, tighter, and more energetic because their metabolism is working with them, not against them. And here's another secret. The older you get, the more important this becomes. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass, a process called sarcopenia. It's one of the main reasons people gain fat more easily and feel weaker over time. But the fix isn't endless cardio or cutting more calories. It's eating more protein to preserve and rebuild muscle. Muscle isn't just for athletes. It's your armor against aging, fatigue, and weight regain. Every ounce of muscle you protect keeps your metabolism high and your body burning fat around the clock. So if you want to lose fat the right way, the lasting way, you've got to make protein the star of your plate. Think of it as your metabolic insurance policy. It keeps your engine tuned up, your fat burning switch turned on, and your energy steady all day long. Low protein diets leave you tired, soft, and frustrated. Protein first eating keeps you strong, lean, and metabolically unstoppable. That's not diet magic. That's just human physiology done right. Here's the part your doctor never tells you. The timing of your protein matters almost as much as the amount. You can eat all the protein you want, but if you're saving it for the end of the day while starting your morning with a bowl of carbs, you're missing out on one of the most powerful fat burning tricks there is. The Fatty One protein trick is simple but life-changing. Front load your protein early in the day. That means your first meal, whether that's breakfast or your first meal after fasting, should be loaded with protein. Why? Because that's when your body sets its hormonal tone for the rest of the day. Get protein early, and your blood sugar stays stable. Your hunger hormones calm down, and your brain gets the message that you're fed and safe. Skip it, and you're chasing hunger and cravings all day long. Let's talk about what happens when you start your day with carbs. Cereal, toast, fruit smoothies, even oatmeal. You spike your blood sugar, insulin rushes in, and 2 hours later you're crashing. You're not just hungry, you're hangry, foggy, and reaching for coffee or another snack to keep you going. You spend the whole day fighting your biology, trying to eat less while your hormones scream for more. But when you flip the script and eat a high protein meal first, everything changes. Protein slows digestion, stabilizes blood sugar, and keeps insulin levels low. That means you don't get those mid-morning crashes or afternoon snack attacks. You stop thinking about food all the time because your body finally feels satisfied. You're not forcing willpower. You're working with your hormones instead of against them. There's a powerful concept behind this called protein leverage. Your body has a built-in target for how much protein it needs every day, not calories, protein. Until it hits that target, your brain keeps sending hunger signals. That's why people can eat bag after bag of chips, crackers, and cookies and never feel full. Those foods barely contain any protein. Your body is basically begging, feed me protein, but you keep giving it carbs and fat instead. When you finally give it the amino acids it needs from real protein, the cravings switch off like a light. It's not magic. It's just biology doing what it's designed to do. Here's what that looks like in real life. I had a patient who told me, "Doc, I can't stop snacking. I eat breakfast, I'm starving by 10, and it just keeps going all day." When I asked what her breakfast looked like, it was a banana, some oatmeal, and a splash of almond milk. That's sugar and carbs with practically zero protein. I told her to try something different. 3 eggs, a couple slices of bacon, and some Greek yogurt. She looked at me like I'd lost my mind. More food to lose weight. But after 3 days, she called me and said, "You're not going to believe this. I forgot to eat lunch yesterday." That's the protein trick in action. When your body's protein needs are met early, hunger takes a back seat and fat burning moves to the front seat. Science backs this up too. Studies show that people who eat a high protein breakfast have fewer cravings later in the day and naturally eat fewer calories without even trying. Their blood sugar stays stable, their energy levels are higher, and their metabolism runs smoother. Protein in the morning also helps maintain muscle and boost thermogenesis, meaning you burn more calories throughout the day just by digesting it. It's like flipping on your metabolic switch first thing in the morning and keeping it on all day long. And here's another bonus. Protein triggers dopamine in the brain. The same feel-good neurotransmitter that sugary snacks hijack. But instead of the crash that comes after a sugar hit, protein gives you steady, focused energy. You feel mentally sharp, emotionally stable, and physically satisfied. That's why people who start their day with protein say they feel in control for the first time in years. They're not fighting cravings. The cravings are gone because the body is finally getting what's been asking for. So if you take one thing from this entire message, make it this: start your day with protein. Make your first meal the most important one for your metabolism, not your taste buds. It doesn't have to be complicated. Eggs, steak, chicken, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, or even a quality protein shake will do the trick. When you lead with protein, your hormones align, your hunger quiets down, and your fat burning engine kicks into gear. That's the vibe one protein trick doctors don't tell you. And once you try it, you'll wonder why no one ever said it sooner. I've seen it over and over again in real life. People who struggled for years with diets, calorie counting, and constant hunger finally find peace once they make protein their number one priority. These aren't fitness models or athletes. They're regular folks who were tired of feeling tired, done with the guilt and frustration, and ready to try something that actually worked. The truth is, when you go protein first, your whole body chemistry changes. You stop fighting your biology and start feeding it what it's been missing all along. Take Sarah, for example. She came to me exhausted, frustrated, and stuck. She'd been eating 200 calories a day for months, doing cardio 6 days a week, and the scale hadn't budged in weeks. She told me she felt like her metabolism was broken. When I looked at her food log, it was mostly salads, fruit, and tiny portions, but barely 40 grams of protein a day. That's not enough for a small child, let alone an adult woman trying to lose fat and keep her muscle. I told her to forget about calories for now and focus only on hitting 100 grams of protein every single day. Eggs for breakfast, chicken or steak for lunch, Greek yogurt or cottage cheese as snacks, and a solid dinner with real meat or fish. Within 2 weeks, her cravings were gone, her energy was back, and she texted me, "Doc, I can't believe this. I'm eating more food and finally losing weight." That's what happens when you fix the root problem instead of treating the symptoms. Then there's Mike, a guy in his 50s who said, "Doc, I'm eating clean, but I feel weak and tired all the time." He was doing all the things he thought were right. Low-fat foods, small meals, counting every calorie. When we checked his protein intake, it was barely half of what he needed. I told him to double his protein and stop worrying about calories. Within a month, he felt stronger, was sleeping better, and had lost inches off his waist, even though his scale weight hadn't changed much. That's the beauty of protein first eating. The scale becomes almost irrelevant because your body is recomposing. You're burning fat while protecting muscle, and that means your metabolism stays fast and efficient. You look better, feel better, and perform better without starving yourself. I had another patient, Lisa, who told me she couldn't stop snacking, especially at night. Every evening was a battle with chips, cookies, and ice cream. When I asked what her dinner looked like, it was pasta, a little sauce, and a sprinkle of cheese, almost no protein. I told her to swap the pasta for grilled salmon and a side of veggies. Within days, she said, It's the weirdest thing, Doc. I don't even want dessert anymore. That's not magic, that's protein leverage at work. When your body gets the amino acids it needs, the craving circuits in your brain shut off, you stop chasing junk food because your body's finally fed protein. First eating isn't a temporary fix. It's sustainable because it doesn't rely on starvation or willpower. You're not counting calories, you're counting nourishment. You eat until you're satisfied, not stuffed. You're not white knuckling through cravings or obsessing over every bite. You're eating in a way that supports your metabolism, balances your hormones, and fuels your body properly. The result? More energy, better focus, fewer crashes, and steady fat loss that actually lasts. You don't need another diet. You need to feed your body like it was designed to be fed. I tell every patient this. The goal isn't to eat less, it's to eat smarter. Stop punishing your body with restriction and start fueling it with purpose. Once your protein intake is high enough, everything else falls into place. You'll notice that hunger becomes predictable, energy becomes steady, and your body composition starts shifting in the right direction. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Get your protein right and your metabolism will take care of the rest. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, go protein first. Make it the center of every meal. Eat real food, get your daily protein target, and watch how quickly your body responds. Forget the calorie apps and fad diets. Focus on nourishment, not deprivation. Because once you go protein first, you'll never diet the old way again. This isn't about eating less. It's about eating smarter, feeling stronger, and finally giving your body what it's been asking for all along. All right, here's your wake-up call. It's time to stop obsessing over calories and start paying attention to what actually drives weight loss hormones. For decades, the diet industry has convinced you that weight loss is a math problem. Count your calories, eat less, move more, and somehow it'll all work out. But you and I both know it doesn't. If calorie cutting worked, we wouldn't have an obesity epidemic and people wouldn't still be miserable, hungry, and stuck. The truth is, calories don't control your weight, hormones do. And the single most powerful nutrient that controls those hormones is protein. Protein is the switch that tells your body to burn fat instead of storing it, to build muscle instead of breaking it down, and to stay satisfied instead of constantly hungry. When you understand that, you stop playing diet roulette and start working with your biology instead of against it. So here's the challenge I want you to take. Go protein first for the next 30 days. Don't count calories, don't track macros, don't punish yourself with restriction. Just make protein the star of every meal. Eggs, meat, fish, poultry, dairy, whatever works for you. Just real nutrient-dense protein. Every time you sit down to eat, ask yourself, where's my protein? Make sure that's the first thing on your plate and the first thing you eat. The rest, the fats, the veggies, even a few carbs can fill in around it, but protein comes first every single time. Within a week, you'll notice your cravings start to fade. Within 2 weeks, your energy will be steady all day long. And by the end of the month, you'll be wondering why you ever wasted time counting calories in the first place. Let's go back to the science for a second, because this isn't just motivational talk, it's physiology. When you eat protein, your insulin stays low, your blood sugar stays steady, and your hunger hormones ghrelin and leptin start working in balance again. You're not riding the sugar roller coaster anymore. You're not crashing mid-afternoon or hunting for snacks before bed. You're giving your body the amino acids it needs to repair tissue, preserve muscle, and keep your metabolism humming. Protein tells your body you're safe, fed, and ready to burn fat. When you don't get enough protein, your body thinks you're starving and fights back, lowering your metabolism, increasing hunger, and storing every bite as fat. That's the diet trap most people are stuck in. And the way out is as simple as eating enough protein. Let's be honest, You're not meant to live your life hungry. You shouldn't have to weigh lettuce or count almonds to lose weight. You should be able to eat real food, feel satisfied, and still make progress. That's what protein first eating gives you: freedom from diet math and control over your hunger. You stop depending on willpower because your biology finally starts cooperating. You'll find that you naturally eat less, not because you're restricting, but because your body doesn't need to beg for more. When your hormones are balanced, fat loss happens naturally. You can't fight hunger hormones with discipline, but you can fix them with the right nutrition. And that starts with protein. I've watched countless patients go through this transformation. They start the 30-day protein first challenge skeptical but desperate. 2 weeks later, they say things like, "Doc, I feel normal again." That's what happens when your metabolism wakes up. They're not fighting food anymore. They're in control, energized, and finally seeing real progress. And here's the best part: they're not starving. They're eating full meals, feeling strong, and losing fat without counting a single calorie. That's what I want for you too. No more starving, no more guilt, no more chasing diets that don't work. Just real results that last because you're feeding your body the way it was designed to be fed. So here's your mission: 30 days of protein first eating. Skip the calorie tracker, ditch the diet shakes, and just focus on one simple rule: protein first. Let your body show you what happens when it's finally nourished instead of deprived. You'll see it in your energy, your focus, your strength, and yes, on the scale too. Because when your hormones are balanced, your metabolism does exactly what it's supposed to do: burn fat and protect muscle. You've been told to starve yourself long enough. It's time to do the opposite. Stop starving yourself. Start feeding your metabolism. That's how you win at fat loss for life.